Hi there, this is Robert Vince, the director of Snow Buddies. One of the biggest challenges in making this film was attempting to recreate the cold Alaska winter in Vancouver, British Columbia. Many of the scenes were shot on Hemlock and Seymour Mountain, which don't get nearly as cold as a remote Alaska town. So we had to utilize the magic of visual effects to create the illusion of cold and perilous weather. As well, a lot of the puppies' close-ups that you see in the movie are actually shot inside the studio. It's a lot more practical to do it this way and a lot more comfortable for the cast and crew. What we did was build sets from scratch inside the studio, adding trees, hills, artificial snow to make it all seem like the real thing. One example of this is the scene at the end of the movie when Adam says goodbye to the buddies. While the shots involving the human actors were shot on top of Hemlock Mountain, the close-ups on the puppies were done entirely at the studio. There are a lot of other scenes in the movie as well where we recreate the cold, snowy outdoors inside the studio. One of my favorite scenes is when Butterball gets his tongue stuck to an icicle. We had to shoot that in the stage, and of course we couldn't actually stick Butterball's tongue to an icicle, so we had to create an animated tongue with visual effects. Another challenging visual effect involved creating the illusion that a cargo plane, which was actually sitting in an airport hangar, was flying through the air. And not only that, we had to make the ice cream container slide down the loading ramp and plummet to Earth. When we did end up shooting outdoors, the weather didn't always match what was called for in the script. Most of the blizzard scenes in the film were actually shot in relatively clear weather. For instance, in the scene where Jean-Georges pulls up to the cabin to take refuge from the storm, it wasn't really snowing at all. So we had to add snow to the shot as a visual effect. Anytime the script called for the puppies to be in a blizzard, we knew we had to add the snow in later, as we only wanted to shoot those scenes with the puppies when the weather was clear. In fact, when the Inuit man leads the buddies to his igloo, not only did we have to add stormy snow to the shot, the scene itself was shot in a parking lot just beside the ski resort at Seymour Mountain. The puppies and the actors were only steps away from the lodge where they could wait between takes. In the scene where Talon shows the buddies the Northern Lights, we actually shot the footage during the day. If we had shot at night, it would have been extremely difficult to light such a vast area. So we filmed during the day, color corrected to make the scene look like night, and then created the Northern Lights as a visual effect. On some occasions, we had to bring snow to the set to create the illusion of wintry conditions. This is actually the main street of a town called Ladner, just outside Vancouver. When we shot there wasn't any snow at all, so we had to haul it in by the truckload to cover the bare streets. But the snow wasn't the only thing we had to add to this scene. Since the area around Ladner is relatively flat, we added mountains in the background to make it feel like an Alaskan town. In other scenes, we had to take things out of the shot to make it look more like Alaska. In the scene near the end of the movie where the buddies are on the frozen lake, we had to remove green trees in the background and replace them with snowy trees so everything would match. As you can see in the before and after shots, a considerable amount of visual effects work was done to create the final illusion. Another challenge in the movie was making some of the more dangerous dog sled scenes safe for the puppies. An example of this is a scene where Jean-Georges almost runs into the puppies and Adam is knocked unconscious. This sequence was done in two parts. One was Jean-Georges and his team racing through the frame, and then Adam and his pups coming through in a separate pass. We then blended these two elements together and made it look like the two teams were perilously close to one another. Through the magic of visual effects, many of the scenes in Snow Buddies are very different than they were originally shot. It's all part of the movie magic that whisks us off into lands far away and lets our imagination soar.